The other day I was looking for an idea for dinner that includes ground beef, and this recipe is what I came up with. It is very quick and easy, and it turned out to be an absolute hit. I'm going to start with prepping all my ingredients, chopping the veggies, that is. I need 2 bell peppers. The color doesn't matter. It depends on what you have on hand. Half of 1 large onion, white or purple, both are great options. Tomatoes, fresh or canned, up to you. Jalapenos, garlic, cilantro and green onions, and potatoes. I'm gonna peel them. And ground beef. I have 93% lean ground beef, 16 ounces. I'm gonna start with potatoes. To speed up the process, I will throw them into an air fryer. If you don't have one, you can bake them in the oven. So dice them fairly small so they cook much faster, and also they are going to be very easy to eat once you add it to the dish. So that's the best way to do it. And I like to use different spices in this one. That's going to be, of course, salt, black pepper, and sweet paprika. I like to season every single time I add a layer, so that way everything has a lot of flavor. And a tiny little bit of cumin. We don't want to overpower that. Toss it well. And really no fat needed unless you want to. There's gonna be tons of flavor, you're not gonna miss it. I promise you that. So I'm just gonna throw it in one layer. And while that being done, I'm gonna chop all the veggies. Starting with peppers. And you do wanna chop everything ahead of time, because this process of cooking is going to be very quick and you don't want to burn anything on your pan while you're trying to rush and cut up more ingredients. That this dish just takes a bit of time for the chopping part. Everything else is extremely quick. I'm gonna use 2 jalapenos in this one. You have to check how spicy your jalapenos are. These weren't that spicy, that's why I'm going for 2. Make sure you try the flavor before you add to the dish. Just a little check on the potatoes. You want to shake it up a little bit so they don't stick and they fry evenly. And these are green onions. We're gonna chop it. We're gonna use them at the end. And the same with cilantro. For the stems of cilantro, I like to add it a little bit at some point of cooking, and then the rest, the fresh leaves, I like to add as a garnish at the very end of cooking. And tomatoes, those 2 tomatoes I had. You can also use canned tomatoes, they work very well as well. It doesn't matter, just don't put too many tomatoes unless you like the sour tomatoey flavor. I will cook the veggies on a medium-high heat. I am using a ceramic large pan. It is great as it does not stick, and I do not need any oil to cook with. And onions go first. I want them to soften a little bit so they release their sweetness. Just 2-3 minutes at the most. And next, garlic, just for a minute or so. Once the garlic becomes fragrant, I'm going to add diced jalapeno. Couple of minutes and peppers go in. And this is the time when I'm gonna season everything again. Salt, pepper, cumin, and paprika. Now I need the veggies to soften a bit. Make sure that they do not boil, but saute. So you have to have the heat just right. As you can see, they started releasing the moisture and they completely deglazed the pan. Therefore, really no need for any fat. And remove the veggies from the pan and add 16 ounces of 93% lean beef. And I want to brown it, but you need to break it down a bit. So we have little pieces, not too big of chunks. And because it's a lot of beef and a pound of it, beef likes to release some moisture as well, and that will happen because the pan is not huge. So what I usually do is just let it bubble a little bit with that water and let the water to evaporate. And of course I'm gonna season again with salt and pepper. You see the water, and you don't want to mess with it. You just want to leave that alone until the water evaporates. And a little bit of sweet paprika and cumin. And this, we still have a lot of water, so just take your time. It's gonna evaporate. It doesn't take long. This is the method I usually use to brown the meat, even if I overcrowd the pan, and this is definitely overcrowding the pan. As you can see at this point, the pan is dry. And now it's sizzling and it's pretty much browning. Once that the beef is cooked, add veggies back to the pan. Now tomatoes, and fry for a bit longer. I like to fry it until the tomatoes completely fall apart, break down. Now the cilantro, it's the stems. I'm using pretty much the stems that I cut up for a little bit extra flavor. This all will take probably 5-10 minutes. You want to make sure that like right now, like tomatoes need to look like that, like they completely became saucy and you can barely see them. No chunks. And at this point, we adding the potatoes. Look how nice they are. Without any oil, any fat added, they brown beautifully. And this is a complete meal. You have your starches, you have your protein, fat. Even though it's very little, there's still fat in the beef. So turn off the heat and add the rest of cilantro and stir. So toss it a few times so the potatoes coat with all the goodness we have on this pan. And add cheese if you are using. I'm definitely going to use this Gouda cheese. It's only 70 calories per slice and 5 grams of protein. And Gouda cheese it's a rather soft cheese and it will melt extremely fast. So it's a perfect cheese for this. And this dish actually has 3 huge servings. Look how fast it's going to melt. It usually takes a few minutes. And it's ready to serve. So I'm going to divide it into 3 plates. Basically, everybody's going to get just 1 slice of cheese. This definitely doesn't look very good. It's not picture perfect, but it's very, very yummy. And a little bit of the green onions we chopped previously. And you can serve it with some salsa on the side, an avocado or sour cream. Maybe even Greek yogurt are also good options. Let's try a little bit. Yeah, perfect. It's really, really good. Let's get that salsa I mentioned before. I'm gonna use the paste salsa. This is my favorite one. Yes, it is processed, obviously, from a store. But if you didn't want to spend extra time, we can use this one. I really like this one. It's really good. And also doesn't have that many calories. It's for 2 tablespoons, you have 10 calories. It's not really that much. But of course, you can make your own salsa. Homemade, always better. And here we go. 3 dishes, quick. You can prepare this recipe ahead of time and divide it to have it for later when you do not have much time to cook. It will reheat perfectly. I will see you on the next one.